Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive in. Today, we're tackling a topic that's pretty much inescapable: the internet.
Inescapable is right. It really is hard to imagine life without it these days, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it: instant connection with anyone, anywhere. Access to, well, pretty much everything. But how did we even get here? That's what we're going to unpack. The internet's impact, how it all started, where it might be going. We've got a lot to cover.
It's a fascinating story for sure.
And a pretty wild one, honestly. I mean, did you know that this whole thing started as a military project? Back in the 1960s, the U.S. Department of Defense was behind it.
That's right, ARPANET. I don't think anyone back then could have predicted what it would become.
Right. From top secret military project to, well, connecting over 5 billion people around the world. Talk about a transformation.
5 billion and growing every day. It really is mind-blowing.
So let's rewind back to those early days. What was the driving force behind ARPANET? What were they even trying to achieve?
Well, the Cold War was in full swing, and there's this fear. What if communication systems got knocked out during, say, a nuclear attack?
So they wanted a communication system that could survive anything, basically.
Exactly. Something resilient, decentralized.
Yeah.
And remember, back then, computers were these massive things. Connecting them across long distances was a huge challenge.
Not like our laptops and smartphones today, that's for sure.
Not even close. But with ARPANET, they pioneered something called packet switching. Basically, breaking data into little packets that could travel independently across different routes.
So even if one part of the network went down, the data could still get through.
Precisely. It was a game changer for reliability and security.
Super clever. And that innovation actually laid the foundation for how the internet works even today, right? That decentralized structure.
It did. But there's another key piece of the puzzle. ARPANET also introduced the TCP/IP protocol. Think of it as a common language for computers to communicate with each other, no matter where they are or what operating system they're using.
Ah, so that's how all these different devices can talk to each other no matter what.
Exactly. It's like the universal translator of the digital world.
Hmm.
And these two innovations, packet switching and TCP/IP, set the stage for the Internet's incredible expansion.
Okay, so that gets us through the 60s and 70s. But the internet as we know it didn't really take off until the 90s, right? With the World Wide Web.
Right. The World Wide Web was what made the Internet accessible to, well, pretty much everyone. Before that, it was mostly researchers and academics using it.
It's true. I remember those early days, dial-up modems, those awful screeching sounds.
And waiting for what felt like forever for images to load.
Pixel by pixel, one agonizingly slow pixel at a time.
Right. But then came broadband, and suddenly connections were faster, more affordable. It opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
And now we've got 5G promising even faster speeds and things like lower latency. It's crazy how quickly things have changed.
It really is. And it's a testament to how much innovation is happening in tech. Every breakthrough seemed to lead to something even more incredible.
Speaking of breakthroughs, let's shift gears for a second and talk about the real-world impact. I mean, we all use the internet every day, but how has it really changed our lives?
In countless ways, I'd say. But I think one of the most profound impacts has been on communication.
Oh, absolutely. Staying connected with family and friends who live far away, video calls, instant messaging. I don't even want to imagine life without those things.
Right. The internet has made distance almost irrelevant. We can connect with people on the other side of the world as easily as we can with our next-door neighbors. And it's not just about personal connections. The internet has also transformed the way we access information and learn.
True. Online courses, educational videos, those endless rabbit holes you can go down on Wikipedia.
It's like having a vast library at your fingertips, no matter where you are in the world. And think about platforms like Khan Academy, offering free education to anyone with an internet connection.
It really has democratized knowledge in a way that was unimaginable before.
And it's not just formal education either. The internet has also fostered these incredible communities of people who share niche interests, connecting with like-minded folks, learning from experts across the globe.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it. I've learned so much from online tutorials and how-to videos. It's amazing.
It really is. And this has had a profound impact on the economy as well.
Oh, yeah, let's talk business. I mean, e-commerce has exploded. Small businesses can suddenly reach a global audience. Consumers have access to a wider range of products than ever before.
Exactly. It's lowered barriers to entry for entrepreneurs and created a more competitive marketplace. And often, that translates to lower prices for consumers too.
It feels like the power dynamic has shifted in a lot of ways. Companies can't just dictate terms anymore. They have to listen to their customers and engage with them online to build trust.
They do. And that's not even mentioning all the entirely new industries that have emerged thanks to the internet. The gig economy, online content creation, social media marketing.
Hmm.
It's really reshaped the job market.
It's incredible how much the internet has driven innovation and economic growth while also creating new opportunities for individuals to connect, learn, and earn a living. But I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
You're absolutely right. The internet comes with its fair share of challenges, and those are definitely worth exploring.
Yeah.
Yet, it's like every time you turn around, there's another story about a data breach or some new kind of scam. Kind of makes you wonder if it's even possible to stay safe online these days.
I know, right? It can definitely feel overwhelming. So where do we even start? What can people do to protect themselves?
Well, the basics are still crucial. Strong passwords, unique for every account, and two-factor authentication whenever you can.
Two-factor authentication. That's when you need a code from your phone or email to log in,
Yeah.
along with your password,
So
right?
exactly. It's an extra layer of security. Even if someone gets hold of your password, they still can't access your account without that code.
Makes sense. I feel like most sites offer that option now, thankfully.
They do, and you should absolutely use it whenever it's available. And of course, you always have to be careful about suspicious emails and links, phishing scams and all that.
Oh, yeah. Those are tricky. They're getting more and more sophisticated, aren't they?
They are. You really can't be too careful. If something seems off, even a little bit, it's best to just ignore it.
Don't click that link, no matter how tempting it might be.
Exactly. But cybersecurity goes way beyond just individual responsibility, doesn't it? We need companies and governments to step up too.
Totally. I mean, companies have a responsibility to protect our data, right? They're the ones collecting it in the first place.
They are. They need to be investing in robust security measures and making sure that our data is actually safe. And governments have a role to play too.
Yeah, like setting standards, enforcing regulations, going after cyber criminals. It's definitely a team effort.
It is. We all need to be working together to create a safer online world. But cybersecurity isn't the only challenge, is it?
Right. What about the digital divide? I mean, we're talking about how amazing the internet is, but not everyone even has access to it.
Exactly. And it's a bigger problem than a lot of people realize. It's not just about people in remote areas either. Even in developed countries, there are communities where reliable, affordable internet access is still a luxury.
It's true, and I think sometimes we forget how much we rely on the internet for, well, pretty much everything these days.
We do. Applying for jobs, accessing education, even just staying connected with loved ones. It's hard to fully participate in modern society without it.
So how do we bridge that divide? What needs to happen?
Well, it's a complex issue, but infrastructure is a big part of it. Investing in high-speed internet, especially in underserved communities, is crucial.
Makes sense. But it's not just about the infrastructure itself, is it? It has to be affordable, too.
Exactly. And even then, there's the issue of digital literacy. Not everyone knows how to use the internet effectively or even safely. We need to be teaching those skills, especially to older adults and people who might be less familiar with technology.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not enough to just provide access. People need to know how to actually use it, too.
They do. It's about empowerment.
Ah.
And it really requires a multi-pronged approach. Government initiatives, private sector investment, community-based programs. It's a big challenge, but it's one we need to tackle head on.
It really is. If we want everyone to benefit from the internet, we have to make sure everyone can actually access it and use it effectively. But even when you do have access, there are still pitfalls, right?
Oh, definitely. Like, take misinformation, for example. Fake news, conspiracy theories, all that stuff spreading like wildfire online. It's hard to know what to believe sometimes.
It really is. It's like we're constantly being bombarded with information from all sides, and it's exhausting trying to figure out what's true and what's not.
It's exhausting, and it can be dangerous, too. Misinformation doesn't just shape what we believe. It can actually influence our actions and decisions, even on a societal level.
Yeah, it can have real-world consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what can we do about it? Well, a healthy dose of skepticism is a good place to start.
So don't just believe everything you read online.
Exactly. Always check the source. Look for evidence. If something seems too good to be true, or if it's designed to make you really angry or upset, those are red flags.
Yeah, strong emotional reactions can definitely cloud your judgment.
They can. And it's always worth doing a quick search to see if other reputable sources are reporting the same information.
Fact check, fact check, fact check.
Exactly. And if something seems fishy, don't share it. We all have a role to play in stopping the spread of misinformation.
It's true. Sharing something without checking it out first can do a lot of harm.
It can. And remember those algorithms we talked about earlier, the ones that decide what you see on social media? Well, they often prioritize engagement over accuracy.
Oh, yeah. So the more outrageous or sensational something is, the more likely it is to go viral, even if it's totally made up.
Unfortunately, that's how it works a lot of the time.
It's almost like our attention spans are being hijacked.
That's a great way to put it. And that's why it's so important to be mindful of our online habits.
Yeah.
Don't just passively consume content. Actively engage with it. Think critically. Ask questions.
Like, who created this? What's their agenda? What evidence do they have to support their claims?
Exactly. Become a digital detective. And don't be afraid to have conversations with people who hold different views.
Oh, I know those can be tough sometimes.
They can be, but they're important. You don't have to agree with someone to have a respectful discussion.
And you might even learn something new.
Exactly. We need more dialogue, more understanding, more nuance in our online interactions.
More of all of that, for sure. But let's not forget about another potential pitfall. Internet addiction.
Oh, that's a big one. Especially with social media. It's so easy to get sucked in, to spend hours scrolling through our feeds, even when we know we should be doing something else.
I know. The pull of the digital world can be really strong.
It can. And it's not just about wasting time either. Excessive internet use can lead to social isolation, sleep problems, anxiety, even depression. It's a real issue, especially for young people.
Yeah, it's like we're trading real-life connections for virtual ones.
And that can have a negative impact on our well-being. So finding a healthy balance is key. The internet is an amazing tool, but it shouldn't consume our lives. We need to set boundaries, prioritize face-to-face interactions, make time for offline activities.
Absolutely. It's all about being intentional about how we use technology, not letting it use us. So we've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? From how the internet began to all the amazing things it can do and some of the challenges that come with it. But what about the future? I mean, technology is always changing, so what's next for the internet?
Buckle up, because that's exactly where we're headed next.
Oh, yeah.
The future of the internet is, well, let's just say it's full of possibilities.
The future of the internet.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is AI. Artificial intelligence, it's already having a huge impact, and that's only going to grow.
AI, yeah. It's one of those buzzwords you hear everywhere these days. But when we're talking about the internet specifically, how will AI actually change things?
Well, think about how you use the internet right now. A lot of it revolves around searching, right? Typing keywords into a search bar.
Yeah, pretty much.
But imagine a future where you can search the web using natural language.
Mm.
You know, like you're actually having a conversation.
So instead of typing best pizza delivery near me, I could just say, hey, internet, I'm starving. Where's the best place to get pizza delivered right now?
Exactly. And AI would not only understand what you mean, but would actually analyze a ton of data reviews, menus, even real-time traffic to give you the best possible recommendations.
Wow, that would be a game changer. No more scrolling through pages of irrelevant search results.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just searching, too. AI could help us combat misinformation by fact-checking claims in real time, filtering out biased content, and even detecting deepfakes.
Okay, that would be huge, especially with all the fake news and propaganda floating around online. But what about the Internet of Things? How does that fit into this future we're talking about?
The Internet of Things. It's basically the idea of connecting everyday objects to the internet, allowing them to communicate and share data.
So we're talking about things like smart homes, right? Where you can control your lights and thermostat from your phone.
That's one example, but it goes much further. Imagine smart cities where traffic lights adjust in real time to optimize traffic flow, or where sensors monitor air quality and alert authorities if there's a problem.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing. But all those connected devices, all that data being shared, it kind of makes me think about privacy concerns too.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. As our world becomes more interconnected, we have to make sure that our data is protected. That means strong privacy laws, transparent data collection practices, and companies taking responsibility for how they use our information.
Absolutely. It's a conversation we need to be having as a society.
Yeah.
But it's not just about AI and the Internet of Things, is it? What about just, faster internet? I mean, we're still rolling out 5G in a lot of places, and they're already talking about 6G.
Oh, yeah, 6G. It's going to be wild. They're talking about speeds that will make 5G look like dial-up. Downloading entire movies in seconds, seamless virtual reality experiences. things we can't even imagine right now.
It's hard to wrap your head around sometimes how much technology is changing. And with the internet becoming so essential to our lives, it makes you wonder, who's actually in control of it all.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The internet was born out of a military project, but today it's this vast, decentralized network. There's no single entity in control, which is both a good thing and a bad thing.
How so?
Well, on the one hand, it means the internet is more resilient, it's harder to censor or control, but on the other hand, it also means it's harder to regulate, to hold people accountable.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
It is. And that's why it's so important for all of us to be engaged, to understand how the internet works, to advocate for the kind of online world we want to see.
That's a great point. It's not just about passively consuming content anymore. We have to be active participants in shaping the future of the internet.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of the internet, I want to leave you with a few thoughts. The internet has incredible potential to connect us, inform us, and empower us. But it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It all depends on us.
So be critical, be responsible, and be engaged.
Well said. And never stop exploring. The internet is constantly evolving, and there's always something new to discover.
That's right. So stay curious, stay connected, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the amazing world of the internet.